Everyone thinks the biggest mystery is what Jesus wrote in the sand, but actually, the real mystery is why those words instantly stopped an angry crowd that was seconds away from killing a woman. The gospel never tells us what Jesus wrote, yet somehow every accuser quietly walked away, one by one. Today we're following every biblical clue, every historical detail, and every ancient theory to uncover what may have happened that unforgettable morning. Here's what's fascinating. This is one of the most debated moments in the entire Bible. Scholars have argued about it for nearly 2,000 years. The passage simply says Jesus bent down and wrote on the ground. That's it. No explanation, no translation, no clue, which means every answer begins with one important question. Why did everyone suddenly leave? But the religious leaders weren't looking for justice. They were setting a trap. If Jesus said, "Stone her," he would appear to contradict his message of mercy. But if he said, "Don't stone her," they could accuse him of rejecting the law of Moses. They believed they had cornered him. Therefore, Jesus never answered immediately. Instead, he knelt down and started writing. But this strange pause changed everything. Imagine the scene. The crowd is shouting. The woman expects death. The religious leaders demand an answer. But Jesus says nothing. Only his finger moves across the dust. The silence becomes louder than the accusations. Therefore, everyone watches. Theory 1. Many early Christian writers believed Jesus wrote the secret sins of every accuser: greed, lust, hypocrisy, hidden corruption. But the Bible never actually says this. It's tradition, not scripture. Therefore, while it's possible, we can't claim it as fact. Theory 2. Others think Jesus wrote the 10 Commandments. Specifically, you shall not bear false witness. Or perhaps, you shall not commit adultery. But, again, scripture doesn't tell us. Therefore, there's another clue many people overlook. The big clue. Notice what Jesus says. He who is without sin among you, let him be the first to throw a stone. That wasn't a random statement. According to Jewish law, the witnesses in a capital case had to throw the first stones. But what if those witnesses weren't innocent? What if they had manipulated the case? What if the man involved in the adultery had mysteriously disappeared? Where was he? The law required both guilty parties to be brought forward. Therefore, the entire trial may already have been corrupt. Here's where it gets incredible. Some scholars point to a passage in the book of Jeremiah. It says, "Those who turn away from you shall be written in the earth, not in heaven, not on stone, in the dust," the very place where Jesus was writing. But John never tells us Jesus quoted Jeremiah. Therefore, this remains a thoughtful possibility, not a certainty. Still, the connection is striking. The real miracle. Whether Jesus wrote names, sins, scripture, or something else entirely, something happened inside those religious leaders. The oldest men left first. Why? Perhaps because they had the longest memories, the deepest regrets, or simply the wisdom to recognize they had already lost. Therefore, one after another, every stone hit the ground, not because Jesus used force, but because truth exposed every heart. Ending, Jesus finally stood. The crowd was gone. Only the woman remained. He asked, "Woman, where are they? Has no one condemned you?" "No one, Lord. Neither do I condemn you. Go and sin no more." Maybe the greatest mystery was never the words Jesus wrote in the dust. Maybe the greatest miracle was that every accuser suddenly saw the truth about themselves. And once you realize why, you'll never stop asking the question that began it all. What did Jesus write in the sand?